Well, I guess that wasn't very optimistic the way you put that. That's all right.
I can say it with a smile.
Yeah, that's much better. That's much better. I guess it's just part of the game. I mean, it's part of athletics. Some years you get hit with injuries more than others. I feel like in the 2 years I've been here on the offensive line, for the most part, my first year I think we went the whole season without getting a guy hurt. You know what I mean? And that's kind of unusual on the other side of it. So this year I think it's caught up to us a little bit. At spring practice, obviously we felt like we had, Coach I know talked about us being strong up the middle with Raleigh and Austin Allen and Frank, and obviously none of those guys are playing right now. So yeah, it makes it difficult, but this is a great opportunity for young guys and other players to step up and really be accountable to their teammates and to this program. So, as if with anything that occurs with any position, you just got to keep moving forward and keep trying to build tools to give our players the best tools they can to have success on Saturday. And obviously, losing Frank really hurts for more than just his playing. He was a very good leader. He is a good leader on this football team. The guys have a lot of respect for him, and I think guys really respect his work ethic and the way he handles himself on a day-to-day basis.
Looking at that, Austin being injured, and Jared out, and Raleigh out, and now Frank, who do you look to Cole, Dale?
Well, Cole does. I think David Williams and Devois need to assert themselves more. I think at the tight end position, Austin Cantrell's played a lot of football. CJ's starting to play more. Those guys, I think there's a bunch of guys that can do it, and they're just going to have to just take more ownership. And Yelda is going to have to be a guy that asserts himself, I think, and obviously Cole Kelly needs to do it as well. So I think we have a lot of guys that are capable. I just think that right now maybe some of the guys need to get out of their comfort zone a little bit, and a lot of times when there's injuries, it forces roles upon people they're not normally used to, but also sometimes you get guys rise to the occasion, and hopefully we'll have that.
Chris said Hammond was going back to running back full time. I know he's been injured a lot. Fred said he's healthy now. What sort of boost can he do?
I think he can help us. I think he's a very capable running back. I think it's going to be a lot easier this way to get him touches and get him the ball in his hands and see what he can do. And I'm excited about the change. To be honest with you, I think it'll be something that could be a real positive for him. And obviously, if it's a positive for him, it'll be a positive for all of us.
If he is healthy physically, what does he do?
He's got. I think he's got great vision and change of direction. He's got really good feet. He can accelerate very quickly through the hole. He's a guy that, some guys can get to 0 to 60 quickly, like Chase Hayden. I think that was one of his big strengths, is his ability to get to long stride quickly. And I think TJ has that ability as well. And obviously he's got good ball skills too. So I think it'll be a good move for him and ultimately a good move for us. But he'll get in the game Saturday, and we'll get him carries and get him going and see what he can do.
When you're game planning with things that have gone on over the line, is it more important to keep the tight ends more often, in the back? How do you kind of reconcile all that?
Well, it gets to be a slippery slope because the more guys you keep in, obviously the less guys you have in the route structure, which limits the stretch in the zones and things like that. So the more guys you keep in protection, and if they rush 4, they got 7 on 3 sometimes, and it gets difficult to find space in there. So there's times, I think, when you need to get guys out so you can stretch zones and give the quarterback option and create space. When guys are running through the zones, it creates space for other players. And obviously, when you limit those things, you limit the amount of space you're creating for guys and the quarterback's reads and all that types of things. And you go from really being a full field passing game team to half or a third of a field. And if you do that against good defenses, it's going to be a tough formula to throw the football. So I do think there's a slippery slope there you have to navigate. You obviously can't be careless and put your guys at risk, but I do think there's at times where you need to get guys out and need to stretch zones. And I think we have tight ends that are capable of making plays in the pass game as well. We want to obviously continue to keep those guys doing that. So I think you'll see a balance of doing both, but I certainly think you need to have the ability to get them out as well.
Yeah, Brett talked a little bit about Austin, with his going forward, and maybe this was another week for him, and then just throwing it in. What do you see in his preparation? Do you think that maybe he could or can't this week?
I think he's obviously been very engaged. I agree with Coach. He was much further ahead this week than I'd seen him, so there's hope. Health can change day to day. I'm no expert at it, but hopefully he has a really good week this week and get himself back into a position where we feel he can help us. If not this week, the following week. He's a very talented, very good player, and he brings a lot of leadership, and he has a lot of experience. So hopefully we can get him back going this week.
Losing Frank, this will be the fourth straight game you guys have had a different starting lineup on the offensive line. How tough is that? Just kind of where do you feel like the line's at right now?
It's difficult, It's in this league, it's difficult to be mixing and matching in the offensive line and not creating continuity. And guys don't know who's their right to their left, and obviously you changing center now, and we had a different center a couple weeks ago, which is actually probably a blessing in disguise that Zach is. Zach Rogers got a game under his belt and against a very, very good defense. So it's difficult. If you can't I think both sides of the ball. I'm obviously not the defensive coach or the head coach, but I think both sides of the ball starts with your lines. And you're only going to be as good as your O line and D line, and you're only going to be able to function at a capacity which they can function. And so when you're changing them out in and out all the time, it becomes difficult. But we're going to put a plan together this week that'll give them an opportunity to be successful, and we'll coach them up extremely hard and get a good plan together where they can play fast and play physical and try to best utilize their ability.
Has it been just a bunch of injuries to go right now on the offensive line? Why do you think it's been so difficult for Kurt to figure out the best spot?
I think the big thing is their production. I mean, the players decide who plays. I mean, we don't. If you're productive and you're getting your job done, you're going to play. If you're not getting your job done, then we make moves, and we're not going to just sit there and say these are the 5 guys. That's it. If guys don't play well one week, it's an open competition from week to week, and you know what? We've had guys banged up. You guys don't know about guys that haven't practiced throughout the week and have to change positions, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on. So, I think Kurt's been put in a very difficult situation, and I think he's handling it very well.
It's maybe hard to evaluate an offensive line against Alabama, especially his first start. How do you think Zach did in that game?
He did good. I thought he did a nice job. He had, I think, there was an outside zone there. We got overpowered, I think, by nose and gave up some penetration. And I think he missed a twist one time in a protection. But for the most part, I thought he battled in there. He played extremely hard. He played with toughness. And you know what? That'll do a lot for you. And so Zach's a tough guy. He's a smart guy. He works extremely hard. And we know that he'll be out there this week, and he's going to give us 100% of what he can do, and he's going to give great effort, and he's going to play with great toughness.
What's your take on the Ole Miss defense?
I think number 9 is very good, outstanding player. I think number 95 is a very good player. Both those guys, just on the early tape, Sunday and Monday, really flashed to me as guys that can be very disruptive. 38, who was number 10 last year, I believe, the outside backer, creates some situations with pass rush. New defensive coordinator. They're very multiple. They're like everybody else in our league. They're getting in a lot of the 3-down stuff out of their 4-down looks, creating a lot of multiplicity, and it's going to be a challenge, and like it is every week.
When you look back, I don't know when you ever get a chance to reflect, but the game and the overtime at Ole Miss 2 years ago, where do they rank for you? I mean, what do they mean to you?
Well, that game I get to reflect on because my wife actually bought like a plaque or something with Hunter throwing the ball. So when I go upstairs to grab a beer out of the fridge, sometimes I look at that up there and I go, oh yeah, it was a pretty good day, you know. So those are, again, I think you know, you make me laugh because you said, when do you get a chance to reflect? And I was just sitting there thinking, like, never. But yeah, that was as far as my coaching career, that was one of the most exciting the games I've ever been a part of. You know, is obviously when you're on the winning side of those, they become one of the best experiences you've ever had. When, you know, I've been on a couple too where we came out a point short, and you don't look at it back on it quite so fondly. But yeah, that's a great memory. To me, it was just the ultimate team win. Like, guys just kept playing and kept hanging in, kept believing, and we were up, we were down, we were all around. You know what I mean? There was 2-point conversions, there was penalty. You know what I mean? It was just like. We went through a whole bunch of emotions on that day, but it was a great team win and something obviously never forget.
How's the development of the tempo been, especially the last 2 games? You guys really implemented that and going forward. Coach said maybe go faster.
Yeah, you know, I told the offense yesterday, obviously, when you win, there's not a lot of congratulations. Or when you lose, there's not a lot of congratulations after the game, like, great job. But I did commend them on, you know, just in a week, you know what I mean, putting together, we had a chance to go tempo, but all the different things we asked them to do on Saturday, I thought they handled it very well for the most part. I thought our communication was very good. Thought guys were really bought in and tried to do their best on things on their own to learn what we were doing and all that. And I do think there's some things in that tempo that can continue to help us, even if the ability to go back and forth from a huddle and go fast and have the ways then to go super fast, which we did a little bit on Saturday night, which I think these experiences will help us continue to grow as an offense as we move forward.
Was adjusting to the tempo maybe the cause of some of the penalties?
I think so. Yeah, I think there was 1 or 2 that might have been generated by that. You know, not all of them, but a couple of them absolutely. I think the guys got a little antsy. I know there was one where somebody was misaligned, and we were trying to get him realigned, and then the cadence took an actual extra long time, which guys then get a little bit jumpy. So a little bit on the tempo, and you know, a little bit on us just being a little bit unaware, and again, having a guy not lined up in the right spot. But yeah, I do. I think when you do that, change tempos, you're changing cadences, you're changing things. There's going to be, you know, some areas in there we got to continue to develop and get better at, and the more we practice it, the better we're going to be.
Ken, the wide receiver growth, what have you seen there from, you know, you playing a lot of guys? I mean, there was some that you might have could have thought, maybe there was some time down. I don't know. What do you think about how those guys are coming around?
Yeah, I think they played pretty. I think they played good Saturday, not great. I think there were some contested balls we didn't come down with that we need to start coming down with. There's times where we can't get off press coverage and create separation as well as we need to do, you know. So we got to continue to get better. Now, and then on the other hand, we had a couple guys wide open at times, and we had pressure and couldn't throw it to them. Or, you know, on one occasion I can think of right now, we missed a read. You know what I mean? So. I think they're playing good, but I do think there's a whole nother level we can get to, and I think they have the ability to do it. They just got to do it. You know, Jordan Jones continues to make some plays, but he's got to make more. You know, he's got to make contested catches. He's got to do a better job in his blocking and being a more physical player. Dion, same thing, makes some plays, but we got to start making some of those 50-50 catches, and there's going to be catches that are contested in high traffic areas that we got to start coming down with. And we need Jonathan Nance to come back. He's been a couple games here where we haven't had a lot of production out of him, and I think he's capable of a lot more than that. And, you know, you play in this league, you're going to play against good secondaries. They're going to get real handsy. They're going to get grabby. They're going to clutch you, grab you. They're going to get physical. And you know what? That's just the way it is in this league, and they don't call it real tight back there, so you got to be physical back, and our guys need to learn how to play that style of play in order to create some separation, and so we can get them the ball.
What were the teaching points for Cole in game 2 for him, or start number 2, and was it an advancement in your view?
We had we got to clean up his footwork. There were some great examples, good and bad, from Saturday. Basically, if he had a negative play, a lot of it had to do with his own self, with his feet, getting him to move forward, 2 hands in the ball, eyes downfield. You know, those 3 things are things that we preach. I preach every single day to that position. If you're not moving forward, if you don't have 2 hands in the ball, and if your eyes aren't down the field, as soon as your eyes come down, you're not a passer anymore. As soon as you have 1 hand on the ball, you don't have good ball security anymore. And as soon as you're not moving forward in the pocket and you're moving backwards, your feet aren't going to be in the right spot to deliver the ball with accuracy and velocity. So really those 3 things got him in trouble a little bit. I think Cole has to channel his competitiveness and his feistiness a little bit more. You know, I think he was really amped up. It was his first start in Razorback Stadium in front of his home fans, and I think he was so amped up. It affected him a little bit early in the game, to be honest with you. And I've said this last week, I'd rather have it that way than the other way. But he'll learn, again, continue to learn from these experiences. He's very talented. You know, again, I think one thing the guys it might be a little bit different is for the receivers too, is to be able to catch the ball with the type of velocity that he throws it in some of the windows that he fits it in. I mean, he had a 3rd and 11 or 12 that he threw it in a really, really small window. Great ball placement. We end up, you know, not catching the ball, but these receivers have to understand that at any time you may think you're covered, but there's a good chance he could throw you open based on his arm strength and those types of things. So again, took off, you know, did some stuff in the run game, pulled out his own read and went, I think, 14 or 15 yards down the field. So I think a guy that may not put a lump in your throat running the ball if you're a defensive coach, you know, but he's, I think, more than capable of generating first downs with his feet and keeping people off balance with the quarterback run game as well. So I think there's so much positive with Cole Kelly, freshman quarterback, played Alabama, played Auburn. I mean, the guys, they're pretty good on defense, both those teams, and, you know, hasn't flinched, you know, hasn't been perfect, absolutely not, hasn't played perfect, but hasn't flinched and has been really competitive and shown toughness and grit and the ability to get knocked around a little bit and stand in there and do some things and make some tight window throws. So nothing but optimism and encouragement so far from the play of Cole Kelly, in my opinion.
You mentioned some of the thrown off the back foot. Is that what's leading to some of those lower thrown balls?
Absolutely, yeah. You know, it's you know, here's the deal. You can't. It's not a perfect world. You're not going to have a perfectly beautiful pocket every single play where you can just step up and take your step and throw the ball. I get it. There's times where you got to make awkward throws off balance, whatever those things are. But there's situations where we can make a good on-balance throw, and our footwork and our pocket posture is not allowing us to do that. Those are the ones that we have to eliminate. You know, I did a study a year or so ago. I think like 48% of a quarterback's drop back passes actually go as planned. 48% of them where you actually go 5, hitch, throw, 3, no hitch, throw. The other half of the time, or 52% of the time, you're sliding up, you're sliding right, you're up, you're out, you're hitch, go and throw. These are drills and these are body postures and everything that I try to put them in their drill work every single day so they make those throws. Where we need to go with Cole is, hey, when you do have a good pocket, things are blocked up, we can't be moving and putting ourselves in a bad position where we have to make an awkward throw where we don't have to, if that makes sense. So. Yeah, well, you know, I did our year, a year at Central and a year here, and then just kind of looked at them, you know, and it's pretty. And I do it like every 5 years. I go back and do it, and it's been pretty consistent. That, you know, somewhere between 40, 50, 45, and 50% of the time. You know, because I'm always looking at how we're going to practice. You know what I mean? So if I put the quarterback in practice every day, he's just taking a 5-step drop, hitching and throwing 100% of the time and not making him move, then I'm not doing a good job as a coach of putting him in all the scenarios he's going to be in a game to allow him to be successful. So I'm always looking at what type of pocket movements we have to make, what type of arm action we have. Like, for example, we practice throwing, but we can't follow through. So, you know what I mean? So there's times where you're in the pocket and it's collapsing on you, throw and you can't all the way follow through.